Good morning, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about envy. Now, I know you've dealt with it. We've all had to deal with these lower vibrational frequencies, whether it's us emitting them or receiving them. But I really want to just get clear about how this really affects us. I would say it all started when I was in college, because when I was younger, I didn't really deal with jealousy and envy very much. Looking back, from, I'd say, a very young age till 15, I was basically living in a gym. I was a competitive gymnast, and my teammates were like my family. We were a very close-knit group of girls that over the years basically grew up together. And I remember one particular summer, my best friend and her family invited me to stay with them, as it was difficult for my mother to schedule around her work, my training. So this was an opportunity for me to get some really good training in all summer long and just to help my parents out a little bit. So I remember this summer very, very clearly. It was one of the best of my life. My friend that I was staying with, her parents were probably one of the richest people, one of the richest families in the state, and they had just completed building a custom home in Paradise Valley. Now, anybody knows anything about Paradise Valley, Arizona, that's for the rich, right? That's where the celebrities live. You're going to find nothing but mansions there. And so I was living the life, right? I was like, wow, this is what it's like to be rich. I was in this brand new home. I still remember the smell of that house. Just like, wow, this is a brand new home. I mean, the beams and the ceiling and the paint, and it's like architecture, and I'd never seen anything like it. And right then I knew that there was something called jealousy. And I saw it kind of peak up a little bit, you know. I was like, wow, my family, we live kind of in a small house, you know, and they get this? Wow. But I told myself right then and there, you know what, Danielle? If you want to live in a house like this, being envious of this family is not the way to do it. You got to go get your degree, become an anesthesiologist, and become well known and developed as a doctor and make your money. So I kind of nipped it in the bud right there. Like, envy is not how I'm going to get successful. If anything, being happy for these people, being loving and appreciative is really what's going to show the universe that that's what I want. You know, that's really the way to show the universe that you want to be in alignment with success. Now, moving forward on the timeline again, I found myself in another group of girls in high school. I was on a cheer squad, and it was a private high school, so it was very small. And again, I grew up with another group of girls. Now, this different group of girls was special to me in the way that, you know, it was high school. We got to have fun, and we learned how to drive and started thinking about boys, and it was just a fun time. And again, that jealousy and envy, it didn't really creep up at that time. I really felt loved and connected to my friends in high school. We were like a family. And I'll be honest, my high school had a lot of pretty girls. I don't know what the deal was, but there was just a bunch of models in my group of friends. And I mean like all different races and types of people, just like diverse group of really beautiful, nice people. And that's what I remember high school as. We actually really got along. For 4 years, we were very close, and there was no bad blood. So moving forward on the timeline, I went through a big growth spurt in college and really found myself wanting to explore spirituality and moved to a new community. Now, this is where my eyes were truly opened, and I guess you could say I went through an enlightenment. I really wanted to become autonomous. I could feel the forces of, I would say, darkness, the forces of limitation kind of pushing me down, and I wanted to break free. I wanted to learn what it was like to be sovereign, live on the land, and I just wanted to disconnect from all the limitations of society. Now, this was where the deal kind of broke. Something shifted in my energy, my energetic field, to the point where I was starting to attract really hateful, envious, jealous people. It was like coming from all directions: my family, my friends, my community. And that's where I found out, wow, if you have something that somebody can't get or wants or doesn't have, they will shame you and a lot of times put envy on you. And as you know, envy is one of the deadly sins. And I will tell you, it is truly that. Envy is dangerous. It can literally kill. And I found out the hard way how sad people are and how desperate they can get to hurt another person just because they feel that they can't get what they have. Now, I noticed people were becoming very jealous of my freedom. Like I said, I had really devoted myself to my sovereignty. But what people weren't seeing was my struggle. Actually, they were seeing it, but they were ignoring it. I actually, over all the years that I lived on the land, had pretty much a full-time job. I've always had a job. I've always worked. And that's one thing they really want to take away, is that, no, you didn't do anything to get what you have. So it's interesting. Humans, when they feel small, they really want to belittle. They want you to be on their level or underneath them. And this is just like a human thing, right? And I noticed that a lot of people really want to take all the hard work. They want to unvalidate you. They want to make sure that you feel as small as they do. They want to say that you received this success overnight, that you didn't earn what you have. And to that, I say that's simply untrue. Because if you followed me throughout the years, all the time I was living on the land, living in a tent in the forest, I had a full-time job. I would work at restaurants as a server. I had to put on suits, literally white pressed shirts with pressed pants, a whole getup, and I had to keep that clean while I was living in a tent in the forest. And I would put that outfit on almost every day, go serve tables, open wine bottles for very wealthy people, knowing that I didn't have a house to go to when my shift was over. I was actually going to have to sit in the thunder and the rain and the lightning in a tent with my dogs. And that went on for years. Moving forward, I gained sovereignty. I gained my autonomy. I began working for myself, started my own business, and then I was able to travel. And I started to get exposed to different states and different types of people, started to really get involved in farming and agriculture, just really wanting to learn more about that type of work. And this would unfortunately expose me to a different type of group of people who, again, that envy, hate, and jealousy was just oozing. They couldn't understand why I wasn't working for minimum wage doing hard labor. So I got some harsh treatment. I've gotten backlash for just being me, for having success. And it's not fun when that happens. I remember very specifically, actually, this is like a famous YouTuber. She went out of her way to shun me and to basically dog me, give me dirty looks. She wanted me to know that she did not accept me. She didn't like what I was doing. Now, come to find out, years later, she's making videos about what I was doing, pretending like it's her idea. Now, I bring that up because I want to tell you that you're always going to get copycats when you're being authentic in your own nature, when you're being real. Those envious, jealous people, they're going to start to copy you. But the funny thing is that with every other knockoff, it's not as valuable. They're not actually really getting to the level of authenticity that you got to. So don't worry about them. And to wrap this up on that note this is what happens when you become overly jealous and envious of people. If you're jealous, you're human, but you need to be aware and mindful of the frequencies that you're emitting. Because basically you're telling the universe, I don't want that. Whatever you're envious of and secretly actually really, really would love to have and love to be like, you're putting out to the universe, stop that. I don't want that. Don't give that to me. You see? So all those people who were displaying their envy to me, I found out, to come full circle, to wrap this up, I found out that they were really going nowhere. Just like a pool of fresh flowing water. As soon as you stagnate that water, you dam it up and make it so it doesn't flow, that same crystal clear water becomes muddy. And that pool will become a cesspool full of bacteria and dis-ease. And that's what happens when we are envious. We're stagnating our growth and we're putting really dark energies into our world that can actually set us up for bad experiences. So, moral of the story is when you really see something in another that you want, celebrate it. Learn to accept it in the other so that you can receive it, so that you can create it. That way, you're putting out to the universe the frequencies that you want to receive. Yes, you're going to be triggered a little bit. Yes, you're going to have that human tendency to want to tear it down. But instead, in that moment, if you just say, no, let's be honest, I actually like that. I actually want that. Like if those people were to be honest with me, they would have said, Danielle, I wanted to be free too. I didn't want to have a handler. I didn't want to work for those demonic souls. I wanted to be able to be free. Then they would have received those frequencies. The universe would have opened doors for them. So that's really the lesson for today. Is when you feel that lower tendency, shift your behavior. Change your mind, change your focus, and allow the universe to open up doors to success for you.